Hi everyone, it's Coach Fred and I'm going to be going over practice test 7 math non-calculator number 15 today. Okay, so what do we have to notice? It's math non-calculator and it's number 15. So it's the hardest one that you've seen yet on the test. And number 16, it's going to flip over to the free response questions where it starts to be easy again from 16 to 20. So I want you to think of this as it's not going to be as easy as it might originally look to you. It's going to be a little bit more involved. So it says the expression 1/3 x squared minus 2 can be rewritten as 1/3 x minus k x plus k, where k is a positive constant. What is the value of k? All right, so I've talked a lot about what do you notice about the question. First, I notice it's quadratic. And I notice it's 2 terms. Okay. So when something's quadratic and it's 2 terms, I always do like to think of dots, but I'm just not sure here. Now I notice that this factor pattern right here is dots, the difference of 2 squares. And I notice that there's a 1/3 right here. Okay, so what they're asking us is to write this in factored form. Okay, now you have to be very careful because it doesn't really look like dots, but if I factor out a 1/3, I can get it into x squared minus 6. Why x squared minus 6? Well, because if I factor out 1/3 from 2, 6 times a third is going to give me, that -2 that I need. Now, how did I know I needed to factor something out? Well, I noticed that there was a 1/3 pulled out in the front. And I noticed 1/3 is not a perfect square. So that would be really hard to write using dots. But then you might be looking at me and saying, well, Coach Fred, 6 is not a perfect square either. Well, remember I did say you can still factor with the dots pattern if the number's not a perfect square. You just have to use its root. So remember, if I use the factor pattern, x squared minus y squared, we factor it to whatever the square root of the first terms are and whatever the square root of the second terms are, and one is going to be plus, one is going to be minus. So this would give me 1/3 x plus root 6, x minus root 6. So k is a positive number, which would be root 6. So what is the value of k? Root 6. That's one way to do this, a little bit trickier. But if you're really comfortable with dots, then it wouldn't be. Now the other way, remember I said if it says what is the value of k, one way you could do this is substitute the answers in for k and then multiply them to see if you get the original expression. So for example, if I put in 2, if I put in a, I'm going to get, I have to do the multiplication. I'm going to do these first. That's going to give me x squared minus 4. 1/3 times that is going to give me 1/3 x squared minus 4/3. That's not going to work. So you could go through the answers. Now, if you do that, it just might take you a little bit more time. So if you were going to use the answers because you weren't sure what to do, I might quickly pick an answer, go to 16, 17, and 18, and then come back to 15 and put a little bit more time into it. Because remember, 16, 17, 18 are a little bit easier. All right, guys, so that's my example for today. Hopefully that was helpful. Have a great day.